Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. So we're a weekend into the Sentinel League now, and we've had a bit of time to mess around with these, both during leveling and at endgame. If you haven't started the league yet, I do use them from the start of the game. You will find that you will get a bunch of chaos by the time you get to maps, and it will really help you establish yourself in maps because you'll have that gear really quickly. But that's something for those of you that haven't got to endgame yet. What about those of you that have? If you're at endgame already, one of the strategies I've found that I've quite liked with these things is to kill a lot of magic monsters while a Stalker Sentinel is active. Stalker Sentinels follow you around and they zap monsters, and the monsters that they zap get a boost that's reasonably comparable to being maybe 60% delirious in terms of their power, so it's pretty significant, makes them tanky, makes them harder to kill, also makes them do a bit more damage. But they also have a chance to get Legion-style rewards over their head. And one of the best ways to do this is in the Delve Mines. In the Delve Mines, when those monsters are killed, the cart will pick up those rewards. So it'll take them for you to the end. And additionally, you'll be fighting a lot more magic monsters. Magic monsters seem to get those reward icon types a lot more often than white monsters do. And so where in a normal map, you'll get lots of white monsters. Delve area, you will get a lot more magic monsters. So let's showcase this. Now, biome selection is important. You want to do this in the frost or the fire biomes if possible. The reason for that is that the frost and fire biomes have just much straighter passages. They're much less twisty and windy. So we're going to do this one. Now this is a short delve in the ice biome. It will end in the Frozen Hollow encounter. So let's jump in. Now first thing we do is we immediately turn on our Stalker Sentinel and then we start running. These monsters that get empowered will be pretty tanky, some of them. Not all of them, but many of them will get a fair boost in juice and will put up a bit of a fight. So you see we're getting a couple of reward icons overhead, and these monsters will be pretty tough to kill, potentially, these rares. Like, even though this is low tier, you should still see these as being, like, reasonably on par with rare monsters in a tier 10 map or so. In fact, Soul Eater and Triple Arch Nemesis, I think I'm just going to walk straight past that one. I'm not going to be tempted by that Screaming Essence of Torment, given that I was buying the deafening versions of those for 2C earlier in this league. I'm not going to bother with a quarter of a Chaos Orb. Not when it means reactivating that monster again. So now at this point, we'll activate the encounter. And a few of those monsters may follow. We may have to fight them. They may follow and fight and make us fight them. But if they don't, I'm not that fussed. I've got something like 8 reward icons on the run here. And there'll be a couple more while we're doing this fight. We missed a jewelry icon. I'm really not that fussed about it. Being a better reward icon, I would have been. Now, the reward icons you most want to see, there's the reward icons for Sentinels are actually surprisingly good. Reward icons for a lot of the rarer leagues, a lot of the rarer rewards are just better. That's why I've taken down the very bottom of the tree of the Sentinel tree. I've taken the node that makes rarer mods more commonly appear. I don't know how much it increases the chances, but it does seem to have a bit of an impact. Now you'll have a look and you see that there's a fair bit that's dropped here. None of this is individually amazing. 4 scrap metal, I'll take it. Chaos Orb, fusing, couple of essences. The stuff you'd normally get from this delve. And that's, oh yeah, and there's a 23 quality and a 20 quality of the gem I'm actually using. That's cool. That's something I will equip. I could have just bought it, but I hadn't got around to doing so. That is what it looks like. Now, the thing that's going to be frustrating though, is that now we want to do another one of these zones. Now, logically you would think, oh yeah, let's just go down or let's go up. The problem is that if we go straight into another delve without changing the instance, we're actually going to wind up with our Sentinel not refreshing. So what I'm going to do is pick a different delve that does not start here. And I'm going to do this one. And this will be the next one I do. Again, exactly the same strategy. I can also throw in an Apex Sentinel if I want. And I just don't find it's all that important to do it. Although they do give an extra little bit of a boost. I usually save the Apex Sentinel for the encounters that have got a Rogue Exile. What about Pandemonium Sentinels, you might be asking? Are they terrible on my build? They might not be terrible on yours, but on my build, I can't stop my Absolution Sentinels from killing monsters. And as a result, I find they're really disappointing because the Absolution Sentinels kill all the monsters I wanted to empower. But your mileage may vary, and feel free to try them and see if you can make them work. So here we're starting this final encounter. One thing that's very important, if you do die here, and I have died while trying to record a take of this video, if you do die in this phase, you will lose all of the loot that you've accumulated so far. And if you die after completing the zone, then all the loot will drop on the ground, and you won't be able to get back into it. If you're in a trade league and you got something really spectacular, you can theoretically call in someone to go and collect it for you. That's a bit of a hassle to do. I would recommend doing it only if the loot in question is a multiple exalt drop. But then in that case, yeah, it's worthwhile. Anyways, you'll see there that there's a bunch of stuff dropping, a lot more than you would normally get in Delve, and actually a lot more than you would get from comparable difficulty content elsewhere in the game. So I would say that what we're doing here is probably roughly in line with a tier 8 to tier 10 map. And we're getting a lot more loot per minute than you would get from those yellow maps. As your character gets more powerful, you can do this at higher tier content as well. And there is a big jump up in Sentinel rewards when you get to yellow tier maps. So you'll find that you'll start getting just more and better rewards quite a lot. The key thing is make sure that your empowerment score on your Sentinels on your Stalker Sentinel is high. That is the only stat that matters on it. Anything else is a bonus. I'm just going to show now some footage of some of the loot explosions that I've had while I've been doing this. These were consecutive, so this is not a case of I've picked through and found the best ones. These are just what I would say is pretty typical with this strategy. You will occasionally get something considerably better. You will also occasionally get ones that are at the worst end. However, I think that these overall are pretty representative of what you can expect if you have mediocre overall luck while you're carrying out this strategy. There's a fair amount of loot that will drop, and especially if you use better Sentinels than the one that I was using here, so things that are more than 34 empowerment, you can expect to get more again. That's all I've got on this. May Volobs have interesting results, and I will see you around.